understand what's going on around you. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself. It's a slow process which we call active measures. The first stage being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. The next stage is destabilization. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. The next stage is crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, period of normalization. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfilled or not. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. The danger is real.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Let's see here. And I think we might be having a technical difficulty. Let's see if I can get started properly. We never have a clean. Let's see here. War Spirit, can you hear me all right? Doing good. I'm trying to see. I think my desktop audio is not picking up. They might not be able to hear you at the moment. I don't know what's going on with it. Yeah. So we're figuring out how to get War Spirit on here. Trying to figure out what's wrong with desktop audio. Yeah. Hold on, everybody. We figure that this is frustrating. I've never had this fine a moment ago. Nope. That thought. What on earth is going on? Dog. I am trying. What is this? Desktop audio is not streaming. Hold on, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and throw the. Now that's going again. Yeah, I'm
Understand what's going on around you. You are
stop it!
False news has become all too common on
social time to save yourself.
Alright. I'm trying to figure this out. This is the most unclean introduction I have ever had. Thank you, Open Broadcast Software, out of all the days, to do this right now. That is incredibly frustrating. Let me go ahead and search for a fix here. Let's see, 200. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Yeah. Yep. We apologize for all of this mess, everybody. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to play some music. Figure this out. Plus just one. I can't play music. It's not picking up desktop audio. Give me a moment.
Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3 testing.
All right, everybody. I got it back. We are good to go.
Mary
I apologize
for
that. I don't know why OBS reset that setting. That's the software we use to stream. We have never had that issue before, and it makes me wonder just what on earth caused that. I was having some technical difficulties in the testing runs I was doing, but that was odd. Anyways, I'm glad to have everybody. I am followed today by War Spirit. Thank you everyone for joining in. Apologies for the rocky intro, but we are here now. And so, I hope... How's your night been, War Spirit? Eventful?
Getting gooder.
Getting gooder. Well, now that everything's working, and maybe we don't look like just a bunch of amateur hacks, which we are. Now that things are working properly, there's a few things that we were going to be going over, starting with Michelle Lujan Grisham's list of demands, which are ridiculous, and the election updates, kind of giving you insight that the main media is not reporting. There's also the release of Call of Duty Cold War, and just general discussion over survival things. We're going to be talking about some backpacks that might be good for you in a scenario. So, let's get started with the list of demands met by us. That's what everyone's kind of thinking about right now. That's the local news. So, Michelle Lujan Grisham and her throne has been surrounded by all of her bureaucrats and lawyers to initiate, again, one of the most unconstitutional ridiculosities, if that's a word, ridiculosity. Look that up. Just ridiculous things that I have ever seen when it comes to our constitutional rights as Americans. It is an affront to everything we stand for. To just say, hey, you know, like free markets and everything, just because the government says, shut down now. To me, that is extremely insulting, dehumanizing, and overall annoying. So, War Spirit, what's your immediate thoughts? Like, just what's your sentiment?
Well, my
on it?
immediate thoughts is I'm not for sure ridiculosity is a word, but I do know that ludicrous is a word. And what is going on? Yeah, no. What is going on is ludicrous. The fact that she thinks she can keep doing this is just beyond me. But I guess apparently she's got everybody over a barrel, or at least so she thinks. But what I think she is going to find in the near future is sooner or later everybody reaches a breaking point. And I think we're at the precipice of people starting to lose their cool over all this.
Yeah.
This is just, although you gotta wonder, John, maybe that's her plan. Because if she can get some poor soul to just lose their crap and do some atrocity or whatever, then she can call in for martial law.
Yep. Let's paint. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing so we can paint them as the bad guy. Very common tactic.
Correct.
And I've seen it time and time again. Especially in this great nation of the enemy pushing people to their breaking point. And the media, of course, filming and reporting as they see fit to draw a picture which is false.
Marxists and leftists and the like Antifa and all them, they all use that same tactic, and they also use a tactic that all the left-leaning people have. Whatever you want to find out what the Marxists are doing, just look and see what we're being accused of. And that's exactly what they are doing.
Truly. They say
that's the whole reason why they call themselves Antifa, anti-fascists. They themselves are the fascists.
Yep, the staple mark textbook version of a brown shirt.
Correct.
And so you have this, of course, again, they call us racist, yet they can't get their mind off of race. And it's just a constant battle of, yes, everything they're doing, they accuse you of. And it's like, no. Russian collusion being a big one. It's like, wait a minute. It's the Democrats that want Russian politics, not conservatives. It just doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. So anyways, on this concept of Michelle Lujan Grisham, what she's been doing is so odd to me. Like, because I could maybe, like, the first time, like, let's just give these people a benefit of a doubt. I could maybe see, personally, I don't think authoritarian measures like that should ever be tolerated, even the first time. But let's look at it this way. The second time is just completely foolish. Because the first time, now you might actually be caring for people. You might have, like, a bit in your heart for good intentions.
And I agree to a certain point, because I mean in the beginning of this virus, we were all kind of being cautious because we didn't know exactly what it was, how contagious it was. They were making it out to sound like it was like the next, like, what's the well, not, yeah, but what's the virus in the
H1N1?
No, in the Congo.
AIDS?
No.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of viruses in the Congo.
Even my wife's in the background trying to guess names, so I apologize if she's picking up on the...
No, I didn't hear anything.
Ebola.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Crap. They were making it out to be the next Ebola, and it turns out, no, it's nowhere near that. So when, as you well know, when this was first coming out and we were first hearing about it and we were cautious, I was actually wearing a mask before everybody else was.
Yup.
Because I was being cautious and I was being responsible.
Right.
But then when I found out it's not as bad as it nearly is, that's when they finally said, well, you got to wear a mask. What? Playa, please.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one thing, it's like, You know that feeling, like when you say you're like married, which you are, but like, you know, for anybody who isn't that's listening in, you know, you get home and it's like you're going over to take out the trash. And then your wife or your husband walks up, "Hey, you need to take out that trash." And like you have it in your hand, getting ready to take it out, and you're just like, "Well, now I don't want to do it." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, but I mean, more of less childish way of looking at it would just simply be, it's fine like for a private company, and this has kind of been the sentiment I've had. If a private company says, "Hey, you can't shop here without a mask," well, if I don't like it, I'll shop somewhere else. It's a private company.
That's just it. Yeah.
But,
And,
you know, it's the same thing as like, hey, in my house, we don't allow phones in here. You know what I mean? Or like,
yeah,
take
my
off your
house,
shoes.
my rules, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But with that, with the free market system, and
Exactly.
I did that. I did that actually with our family. And I've talked about it on the podcast before, but we all gathered up, me and my daughters and my wife, went to Burger King. This has been a while back. And this is when they were first starting to really hammer in, you got to wear a mask. And they start like trying to hand these masks out to us like from behind the counter. I said, "Well, what are these for?" "Well, you have to wear these, sir." I said, "Well, am I going to be able to eat a burger with one of those on?" "Well, you can take it off when you get to the table." I said, "No, thank you."
Yeah,
And I start walking out, and the girls start walking after me. This manager was just like all dumbfounded and was like, "You mean you're going to leave because you have to wear a mask?" I said, "Yep." I said, "If you're going to require me to do so, I will go elsewhere. I will bring Wendy's my business." And that's what we did. And guess what? When the people at Wendy's didn't say anything.
Yeah. And that's nice. And so, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's one thing when a private business, you know, for the sake of whatever their intentions are, does it. If you don't like it, goes elsewhere. It's another thing when the government comes in and orders businesses to shut down over this. Now, this is something that is so contrary. Like, it's a perfect example of why individualism is important. So, like, for the government to, it's like I said, it's one thing if the private businesses tell you to. The government comes in and demands all small businesses in a certain area for a certain amount of time close down. And why? Because there's this virus for the greater good. And when that kind of happens, it should immediately send up a red flag, because if you're worried about this virus, as an American, I don't care what's going on. There could be a genuinely real virus. If a business wants to stay open, let them. And if people want to go to that business, let them.
Well, and I heard it put to me like this a few days ago, just recently, and it was a really good comparison. I think I saw it on Twitter, and somebody tweeted this, that the government has known for years that smoking kills hundreds of thousands of people every year. And also, the tens to 20 of thousands has been proven have died from secondhand smoke.
Oh.
Yet, they are not mandating and banning cigarettes.
How interesting. They sure are mandating vapor pens, but that's a topic for discussion.
Well, you can still get them. You can still use them.
That's true. And
they up the age on it, but you can still puff on that thing and kill yourself, which you need to quit, by the way.
All right.
Listeners out there, encourage my friend John to quit. I did. I quit. See,
Yeah,
and then we wouldn't have to hear that annoying sound on the podcast too, because man, that's like nails on a chalkboard to me.
You're right. It's like, stop. No, I understand. But yes, that's the thing. It's like, I'm a grown man, and yeah, you know, it would be good for me.
But that's just it. That's just it.
Exactly. You know, and I know that's your point.
I can try to encourage you to quit, but I can't make you quit. You're a grown ass man.
Exactly. And that's, you know, and that's what the government is doing. And that's I'm glad you went for that example. I'm not accusing you of like, I'm a grown ass man, leave me alone, war spirit. No, that's kind of the point that I was leading to. It's like, well, It's the same thing. It's like, oh, I can't go to this business because, I'm a grown man and, well, I'm not allowed to leave my house. Why? Because the government told me not to. Have I committed a crime? No, but there's a virus outside. There's this big bad virus that everyone's supposed to be terrified of, and if you're not scared of it, oh, well, you must just be a monster. And then it takes away your rights.
Right.
It takes away your right as a decent American man or woman. It is dehumanizing and awful.
But Gene Roddenberry taught us that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Oh, yeah. Good
socialist surgeons. Taught us that.
Oh, the good socialist surgeons, you got to cut off legs to make way for the heart, whatever. But
that's right.
Good Lord, it is so aggravating, especially now, right? Me, just like a lot of other people, have just in my generation have just got out of their house, right? Like, we're no longer under the thumb, and some of our parents weren't very strict, which I think is an issue. Parents do need to be more strict. Do not accept I'm a kid. I'm not going to give you parenting advice. That's for War Spirit. He's got plenty of kids.
Apparently ones that I didn't even know that I had.
Apparently.
So let me tell you listeners something really funny real quick. Yeah. Me and John are talking earlier today, and he's like, well, you got like 5 kids, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and I'm actually going to tell you guys, I can do it. I got 3 daughters. And I was like, no, I got 5. Like, dang, last time I was over there, I swear you had like more than that. And I'm like, well, they're just like all over the place, so you probably just counted a couple of them twice.
Yeah. And that's a fact. So but what I mean is, it's like, we get out and we're on our own and we're starting this like independent life, right? And that's something like from the government, I have never sought handouts. I was on unemployment for about 3 months, hated it, made me anxious, scared, sucked. And it was just one of those things that just kind of came up, and it's just like, nowadays, it's like I'm sitting here, and the government shows up after getting out of, under the thumb of my parents, and it's like, hey, grown man, you're getting ready to live life on your own. Well, guess what? Your taxes are going to go up, which, every faces this. But hey, guess what? There's this new mandate that you have to follow like you're a little baby kid. And it's gotten old. It's like, hey, wait a minute. It's like, I'm getting started here. I can live my life. I'm not an incompetent mental handicap, as far as I know. And I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted. But the point is, I'm sick of being bossed around like I'm 5 again. And it's not even by my own parents. It's by some wild witch in Santa Fe who's completely lost her ever-loving effing mind. And there's nothing I can do outside of like a peaceful rally, which is something I posted on Facebook, is we should hold a rally, but it's clear that they don't care. And this is where you were talking about when we first started this. She, I do believe, maybe not of her own like a... And...
Come on.
Yeah, and that'd be great. We're getting at the radicalization of America. This is going across the entire country. And the government, you're talking about that breaking point, I'm reaching it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to break and do anything that would get me arrested in a court of law. I hope. If things come to that, it's going to be bad, and I'm not going to be the only one. I'll tell you that. But my point being that exactly is that she's pushing buttons of grown men and women across this country who seek only to be free, left alone, and in peace. Some dang peace and quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, I don't know. Do you have anything Do you have anything to add to that?
So what I want to do for our listeners is go over kind of some of the main stuff that she did do. So she closed down schools again. They're closed down again. She also made all like supermarkets and places like that. It's either 25% capacity or 75 people, whichever one's the larger of the two. Like for example, Walmart can only have 75 people in the whole store.
Yup.
Already there's been lines like at the Walmart. A buddy of mine was showing me, and he was telling me that the Walmart there was like huge lines, and so I don't know. It's back to the way it was, and supposedly it's only for 2 weeks, folks. It's only for 2 weeks. When have we heard that? When have we heard that, John?
I heard it 2 weeks ago.
Well, we heard it like 3 times because it was supposed to be 15 days to flatten the curve, right? That was the original quote, right?
Yes,
and then that 15 days turned into 6 freaking months.
Yep, and it's gonna keep going. You know, they're going to stretch this into 2020. I'm not meaning to be the bearer of bad news. Let's just get real. They're going to stretch this into 2021, and especially if Trump gets elected, which I hope he does.
Well, speaking of bearer of bad news,
yes,
I got some bad news about the election update stuff.
Yes, sir.
So as of this morning, they were still fighting for Arizona. For some reason, the Trump campaign, it's still really close. I don't know why they did this. They gave up Arizona. So Arizona is now going to go to Biden. They're thinking about giving up PA.
Right.
Which means they only have Wisconsin left.
Which is not enough.
If Biden wins both Arizona and PA, I think he's got it. He's got the 270. So I don't know for sure what their thinking is on that. Maybe they'll change their minds on it. It's not like official, I don't think. That was just the Fox projections, and you know how much you can trust Fox.
Yeah.
They're as bad as MSNBC and ABC right now.
Yeah. Bad. And I think it's a healthy thing. Not the election, but Fox, right? This thing that happened with Fox. A lot of conservatives have finally opened their eyes to this, which I've been waiting for, because I personally, like, starting about 4 years ago, I stopped trusting Fox entirely. And the main reason was because they had this whole segment about how violent video causing. And I was like, oh.
Well, and that's, to those of you listeners out there, and I don't want to, like, offend anybody, but you dang boomers need to quit watching Fox.
Yeah.
Just going to go right out there and say it. Because a lot of you turn Fox News on in the morning. That's what your TV stays on all day.
Yep.
They are not your friend.
Blaring
yes.
Fox News. So let me explain.
Yeah.
So Fox News is on the side of conservatives, right? But here's the problem, and this is the tactic of the enemy. They will talk and agree with you about things that don't matter. That's my problem with Fox. Their arguments are always super hollow. Like, the whole mask thing, many boomers, instead of being like, well, I don't care if masks work or not, it's just against my rights as an American. Instead of focusing on their rights, they focus on whether or not if masks work. And so a bunch of, quote, boomers are out here trying to prove that masks don't work, instead of being like, well, I don't care if they work or not. These are my rights. And that is, again, Fox. They throw out these arguments that are hollow and pointless, as well as, like, they agree with you, and they'll talk on a point, like, there'll be something going on, and they'll have a conservative opinion about it, but it won't be something truly important, like the pedo ring stuff. Only a few people talk about that. Like, I think Tucker Carlson has been, like, the only, like, main front of Fox that actually might be sane. But even he is like, I don't know. I don't normally watch Tucker. But that's the thing. It's like this whole pedo-ring stuff, notice, they don't even talk about it. They'll talk about the election. They'll talk about the presidency. Everything that's not an immediate thing. Because right now, to me, like the pedo-ring is awful important. We've been covering it since we started, a good year ago.
It's a year and a half ago now.
Oh.
And the reason why, in my opinion, and maybe this is just being judgmental, I don't know, but what I've found is the people that are afraid to talk about the pedo stuff have people that may be involved in it. And it would not I would not be the here's a you want to talk about like old like weird phrases here. And this one's my great grandmother, and it's kind of funny because coming from an old lady, I wouldn't be the least bit spraddle-legged, John.
Yep.
If the CEOs of Fox came out to be pedos.
Yeah, it wouldn't really surprise me. I mean, here's the thing. Fox, right? Like, you notice Fox? Fox is owned by Disney. Just right off the bat, let me throw that out there. Fox News is the same entity as Fox. These are the same people who own, like, The Simpsons, Family Guy, all these big, huge, like, shows. This is the same media Hollywood beast as all the rest of them. And we're going to sit here and believe that Fox News is any better than CNN. You're being fooled. You're being played. And the fact that Fox News panicked when they saw Trump getting ahead, so they called Arizona, and then all the other news places, that was their giveaway. That's what gave their silhouette, their disguise. It just ripped it in half. It's gone. Because I strongly believe that Fox News, just like all the other news outlets, the media, is like, wait. Because Fox News will pretend to be on Trump's side all they want. That's its job. Yeah, see, we have our own news source. It's Fox News. Wonderful. All this and that. But it's ran by the enemy. Tell you what they want you. So that's pretty much Fox News in a nutshell. So elections not looking good. Final say not really given. If Biden gets in there, it's gonna suck. If Trump gets in there, it's gonna suck in a different way, but in a lot better way. In my opinion.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, you can take that your little giggle whatever you want.
What are you talking about?
We're trying to keep it family friendly, Warspray. You can't be laughing at things.
I don't know what you mean, John.
I don't know what you know what I mean.
Wait, can you explain?
I'm not gonna explain. I'm not gonna explain why you might think
I don't
that
understand.
was funny. Just get off it. In the words of
Get off
Tucker
what?
Carlson.
Get off Tucker Carlson? I don't play like that.
Looking at Tucker, he probably wouldn't mind that.
Probably not.
No. Going on. So Michelle,
do we have? I'm checking the
well, we've got about 3 viewers.
chat live chat here.
We haven't had any chats or anything.
We don't have anybody. Hello, is there anyone out there?
Got 4 concurrent viewers right now. Welcome aboard, you 4. But here we are. So we're talking about Michelle Lujan Grisham. I do think that this is going to cause more issues than just the economy. This is going to cause a cultural issue. People are going to act out. It is to the point of melting. We have been in this quarantine BS for a year, living in paranoia, anxiety, and fear, and threat of our livelihoods just being robbed away because of a virus with a nearly 100% survivability. And I mean nearly by inches.
You know, the best way she's in the way she's using this to keep control of the state, the biggest way, and I've heard several people say this, and me, I'm kind of in the same boat as far as a lot of businesses, a lot of jobs out there. if you want to keep your job while you're at work, you got to wear your mask.
Yep.
And that is the one way she's been able to keep control over the citizens of New Mexico is nobody wants to lose their job because everybody has bills to pay. Everybody has a family to support. Yeah, this, that, and the other. And so what we need to do, we got to find some way to get through to the business owners that if they would all at the same time say, we ain't playing your game no more, she would have no power.
Nope, none. She has as much power as we give her.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the staters can come do what they want, but don't promise me with a sweet time.
Well, the staters, all they're gonna do is try to issue some bullcrap fine or whatever. And what you do is you pull Pauly Shore off of, and I forget the name of the movie right now. It's coming away from me, but it's a '90s movie where Pauly Shore and his buddy play. They want to be this punk rock band, right? And so they hold up a radio show so they can like play their tape, their band.
Oh.
And they actually get this radio producer to actually hear them, and the radio producer likes it, even though the cops are surrounded this place because they're like literally holding these people hostage with a pellet rifle, by the way. But the people in the radio station don't know it's a pellet rifle. And Pauly Shore thinks it's like a scam for the cops. So he turns around, drops his pants, shows everybody's butt, and he wipes the radio contract with his butt. That is what we need to do with Michelle Lujan Grisham's health orders.
I agree. I completely agree. See, that's the thing. I mean, there's another scene, and I don't know if you've seen it, but there was it's kind of like The Office, which we've gone over how much we kind of despise The Office, not because of anything
I despise The Office.
We just don't really enjoy it. Like, everyone's so funny.
I don't find it funny.
Yeah, and I don't either. Like, I mean, some of it, like, could, I guess, be funny, but it's not enough to keep going. I don't know how they did it. But anyways, there's another show called Parks and Rec. And it's got a dude who's a hardcore libertarian called Ron Swanson, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the officer walks up and he's like, "Hey, I see you're cooking a pig here at the park. You can't be doing that." And Ron Swanson turns to him and says, "Don't worry, I have a permit." Pulls out a sticky note just with his handwriting that says, "I do what I want."
Right.
You know, and that's kind of that's the spirit of America. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a goofy show, but let's take this, as a small business owner, state trooper walks in, which I remember with Los Hermanitos. I went to Los Hermanitos after that. They were supposed to be closed down. I went to Los Hermanitos, and I sat down, and I had, as always, great food. The wonderful owner, I'm not going to name him. If you can find him, you can talk to him yourself. But he's an awesome guy who just is trying to run an honest business, and the government just keeps trying to shove their vernacular down his what, and it's just it's a mess, and I'm sick of it. It's like, you're a grown man doing an honest job feeding people, and people here work under you, need that money to pay their bills, and the government's just like, nope, you don't have that right anymore. Free market,
what
out
kind
the
of
window.
vernacular were we talking about? I'm lost in the vernacular.
I just didn't want to go into the vernacular. Let's just put it that way.
Well, it sounds like you're putting your vernacular in somewhere.
Inside another vernacular.
Oh, okay. All right.
Vernacularception. You are a goofball of our spirit, man. I don't know how we have a show and all you do is torture me with dad jokes. Torture our listeners. That's why there's only 4 people watching us every night. Hello, Drama Pink Girl.
Do you think that the 4 people listening to us would be anywhere curious to know how you can exercise and cook at the same time, John?
Yeah, I'm sure they would love to know. Please.
You take a walk. A walk, John. A walk.
I'm going to be taking a walk
W-O-K.
to the side of your dome. No, I love that joke. I actually, once I got it, I was like, have to use that one. Stupid. But so that's pretty much that. I'm sick of us being bullied. It's gonna get bad, and we have to do something about it. I'm not gonna name what. I'm not gonna give anybody any ideas of violence. We're not about violence on this show. We're law-abiding Americans. But there is a point. There is a breaking point, and we will rise to the call if it is so called. So,
Right.
on that, talked about the election. Really nothing much to go on with that. I mean, what can you do? It's so far out there. There's nothing we can do. Mexico is blue. You know, it is what it is for us. And all we can do now is pray about it. We can pray. We can hope. We can continue to share truth. And please, everybody, I understand that the left is vicious. I understand that the left is vicious with their words, with their hate campaigns, and their never-ending slander of good people, this great nation. But we cannot sink down to their level. We cannot be having people screaming at the sky like they did 4 years ago. We can't have people throwing riots. We can't have any of that. We must remain the voice of sanity. Now, there might come a time, but mind you, when this time comes, we will be professionals. More ways than one. So, on with it. Hemp. The hemp updates.
Yes. So Saturday morning. No, it was actually Monday. Yeah, Monday morning. We found something interesting on the San Juan County Sheriff's Department Facebook page. They stated that they had them and a bunch of feds, and I mean, basically the whole alphabet soup boys were in town. Along with Bureau of Indian Affairs and all kinds of stuff, and they went down to Shiprock and knocked on old B'nai Badali's farms and wanted to have a peek. Guess what they found, John?
They fine.
Buttload of marijuana. By the way, folks, a buttload is a real form of measurement in France. It's a wine barrel. One wine barrel is a buttload.
Right. Did you bother Google translating the word late before we started this evening, More Spirit? How it comes up with your name?
No, John, I didn't. I didn't see what are we talking about?
I just suggest it kind of proves how Google tracks you. So if you go to Google Translate and you type in so make it where it's English to French, you type in the word late, it'll just say your name. It's pretty crazy. So you'll have to check that out.
I don't know how to do that.
That's okay. I could show it.
I'm just old, John.
Yeah, I know you're just. Oh man, somebody's gonna actually go do it. By all means, go do it. I would love to hear your reaction, everyone. So here we are. And so
I do speak French though.
Yeah.
And calling me a retard is not very nice.
Hey, don't say that. You're gonna get us. You're gonna get us out. But anyways,
listeners out there,
hemp stuff.
Tell us what you think about John calling me these awful, horrible, hurtful names.
Not very politically correct. In fact, it's very ableist. If you've ever heard that.
It's true.
Which
that
in French, let's say that term I personally think is very late. But to get on with the hemp thing, San Juan County, they brought the entire alphabet soup along to raid, basically, because they were doing this, like this showed up in my feed. It was like they're still doing it illegally, and bam, surprise, surprise, marijuana, not hemp, mind you. There's a difference between the two. But again, Chinese laborers in a sweatshop type environment have been caught yet again with a buttload of marijuana, and it's being sent around.
Close to $1 billion worth, by the way.
Man, and that's what I was saying. My goodness, I can't remember who was the president of the agriculture that's responsible for all this.
Benet Benali. When I heard the
Yep.
$1 billion, it made me think of the bad guy off of Austin Powers.
$1
billion.
Do you remember when we had that spill, the EPA spill?
Yeah, the Gulf King mine spill.
I made a meme, and it made me so sad that it didn't go more viral, of Mr. Evil with his pinky up to his lips, and it said 1 million gallons. And I'm sad because that was the actual number, but it didn't really go anywhere. I might have to do a recount on that. But anyways, boatload of marijuana busted. Chinese suckers running around all over Shiprock, still harassing people, still and there's all kinds of things that could be tied into this, between trafficking, between
that's the reason why, if you'll notice in all those alphabet soups that were posted on San Juan County, they had immigration affairs on there, all kinds of stuff. So not only are they looking into that, they're looking into apparently the legality of these Chinese people being in our country.
Oh, I'm sure it's nil.
I still hold to the fact, and this is, call it what you want. It's to me, this is not racism at all. I still hold to the fact that I think that's the reason why the coronavirus hit so hard on the Navajo Nation, is because you had Chinese people that already had the original coronavirus brought over here from China.
Yep.
So, and there's no way to ever prove that, and there's no way, I'll bet you, the feds will pursue that. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Also, we've had multiple accounts of these Chinese illegals. I'm just going to say that because I think they are illegal. These Chinese illegals, causing problems in Shiprock. There's been rape allegations. They've been living down by the river and defecating into the water. All kinds of just horrendous things.
Right. And I feel, so let's get this, right? Let me just get into this. And I would be willing to put money down. Yeah, you can't really prove these things. But I mean, around the same time, January, this all started. So January, the hemp farm started going. By May, there was a massive outbreak of COVID-19 on the reservation. In fact, one of the worst in the nation. Put one and one together. Is that a proof? No, but you can, just like everyone's a scientist, put one and one together, you get a result.
Oh.
And so you got that. Secondly, this whole thing with the Chinese, right? I would be willing to put money down that they're illegal. One, it's cheap. Way cheap.
Right.
They're not, these people are wanting, I'm sure, this is where I kind of feel pity. I would like them to integrate legally, these Chinese individuals. But, I can't help but wonder, how did they get them here? Did they just give them some kind of, BS offer out in China? And then it starts to make me wonder, what connections does Dene Benali have? What's with all these white vans that we heard about on the reservation? And now we know that he can get a hold of Chinese immigrants at Bill, just out of nowhere.
Yep.
What kind of power does Dene Benali have?
You heard his the guy that the head Chinese guy that drives the vans, right?
What's
Some
that?
Ting Wong.
Some Ting Wong.
And Hung Lo Charlie.
Hung Lo. Yes. Again, we cannot go 5 minutes without it. We must know that nobody knows.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself on that one.
It's a disease. You need a vaccine.
It is. Which there's an updated for that. Trump talked about that today, and it's really cool because, and here's what I got out of the press release that Trump did today. He was letting everybody know, including the Biden campaign, that he was going to be implementing the vaccine. His people came up with it, not Biden, and they can't stick that feather in their hat. Now, with that said, I'm just curious for your opinion on it, John. Then I'm going to give mine. Are you going to take the vaccine when it comes out?
I am
Nor shall I.
convinced, and I can't. Here's the thing. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. It's like we'll see in 2 weeks every time I say it. But I am convinced that I am immune. I mean, I have been in what would be considered the front lines since the day one. I have been around people with COVID. And I have, like the PPE provided all this time is kind of lackluster. And I was told that if just a speck of COVID anything gets in your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, or fingernails, that you got it. COVID starts spreading like a rapid clone disease. That
Right.
is what coronavirus is.
Again,
Right.
like Ebola.
Yep. And so, I was told, so I took my precautions, and I still do. I'm still safe. Whenever a COVID dude's around. But here's the thing. I am convinced at this point that if all it takes is a freaking sock mask and rubber gloves or hand sanitizer to get through this, are you serious? Let's just put it that way. Are you serious? We shut down the whole nation over this?
Shout out to all of my veterans out there, that have ever had to go through, basic training. Poor guys, you had to wear like the mop suit and everything. All you needed was a paper mask.
Yep. Because I sure haven't gotten sick yet, which also makes me just wonder, maybe I'm just built different. I had an awful cough. Granted, here's another thing, War Spirit. I had a cough, I think it was like 4 years ago. It was with me for 5 months. I could not stop coughing. I would cough until I puked. And it was bad. That was 4 years ago now. And being faced with all this, being close proximity, being coughed on in public by people I could probably presume have COVID, and being just oh, okay, I'm good. Did I have a test? No, I haven't had a test. You want to know why? Because I don't believe in the tests. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but even Elon Musk himself, a guy who has a reputation to protect, is this is bogus.
Yeah, so those of you who don't know, Elon Musk actually posted a tweet, I believe it was yesterday, and he tweeted out that he had 4 tests done in a row, and 2 of the tests came back negative, and the other 2 came back positive. And he just pointed out that, how odd is that? There's something is rotten in Denmark.
Right. And it doesn't have to be anything corrupt, it's just something's wrong.
Yeah.
And so
that's what he wasn't getting at, any kind of corruption. I don't consider Elon Musk a conservative, but
I definitely
he is honest.
Yeah. He's just an honest little South African who likes to build rockets and flamethrowers. Right. But anyways.
And electric cars.
Yeah, it's Tesla. Ugly little thing.
I have to admit, the Tesla sports car is kind of cool, but I don't know, man. I understand they're fast, they're really cool and stuff, but there's no engine noise.
Yeah, I'm just so American that muscle cars. It's we just look at that. It's yeah. It's
that's just it. It's not just the muscle car. I mean, it's just not just the engine either. To me, a sports car, it needs to have a V8.
Yeah, you can sit here. It's you tell me. It's our sports car can teleport you to Venus in 8.2 seconds. I'll be yeah, that's cool, but can it do this?
Yeah, it's kind of and I've talked to a friend of mine that he owns both. He owns a Harley Davidson, and he owns a crotch rocket. Right. And 2 very different bikes, and usually it's like harkening back to the day where you was either a PlayStation kid or an N64 kid. You usually didn't mix. But he likes both, and I was like, well, that's really odd because most guys I know like one or the other. And I said, well, personally, I would like the crotch rocket better. And he's like, well, why? And I'm like, well, it's fast, it's agile, it's it hugs the curves. That Harley, it ain't made for going fast. He said, yeah, but it's the feel. It's the rumble. It is the loudness. It's the rough ride is part of the experience.
Right? You hear that? Sounds like America. But anyways, as we were saying, the whole COVID tests, right? We like to get in our rabbit trail. But COVID tests, every one of them, right? Every one of them. This is my issue with the test, and this is why I refuse to beat that statistic. Is because whether you come up positive or not, and the amount of people who get tested and come up positive who are like, oh, I feel fine, I haven't coughed, and they never end up coughing, is astounding. And so so their excuse for this is, oh, well, they're asymptomatic. They can give it to others, but they themselves don't have any symptoms. Which is the most lazy bullcorn. It's lazy lying, and we're just eating it up as a country. We're like, yep, mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, no questions, yeah, mm-hmm, that's normal. Because, that's how all diseases have worked. And then they throw this in the curb. I remember reading this back in the day. It hasn't been mentioned in a while, but it's like, oh, well, once you catch it, you're not safe. Because you can catch it again. It's a special virus, see? It's different than any other virus in the world. Because you can catch it again after building an immunity to it. There is no immunity. Stay inside. Stay scared. Close down the businesses. Starve. Save the world.
So basically, it's just like the common cold.
Nope. It's like the cold. And a lot less lethal than the flu, statistically.
Yeah.
And
even less, I heard them say, first, it's going to be more severe than the flu. I know guys that have had it. And I talked to him. I'm like, well, what was it like? And he was like, well, I had fever for a couple of days, and I had like body aches. But it was funny. He's all, but I've had hangovers that were worse than that.
Yo.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
And, that's where we're at. It's like, we're all wigging out over this nonsense. Because I remember when H1N1 came in, and this, trust me, guys, this is solely because the Democrats were in control. If a conservative was in there, the Democrats would have done the same thing they're doing now when Obama was in leadership. So, and yeah, so Drama Pink Girl, that's a very good point. You will still have a temperature even if you don't have any symptoms. And that's why, like, a lot of these places, I've seen a lot of these places, when you walk in, it's like they got this, whatever it's called. It's like a temperature reader.
Temperature wand.
Kind of makes me sit back like, hello, Hong Kong, how's my social score going?
We don't like you, Gia. We give you bad score.
Yeah, you can't go get McDonald's cheeseburger. What teach you, Gia? You better obey my screw.
You're number 10. You're number 10.
China number 1. Xi Jinping number 1. You number 10, fool. Sorry, that's like Chai Kong Mexican.
Well, that's turned like into a black Chinaman. I'm not for sure.
Mexican.
You didn't say Holmes.
I said fool.
It's true.
Anyways.
It's too small to be an essay.
You are tired. You are tired.
I'm actually awake now.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah. So, anyways, this whole COVID thing is gotten old. It's gotten overdone, and every test that comes in, as I was saying, ends up as a case. It's what? That's where all your cases of COVID are. Whether you tested positive or otherwise, guess what? It's a case. There's this many new cases. And mind you, they can use this term. It's kind of like that same mental game they play when they say pandemic. I hate that word. Because
Right.
yes, technically, yeah, sure, it's a pandemic. You can technically, yes, you can. It's a pandemic by all means. Well, the word has been used by Hollywood in many other ways. When you hear pandemic, you think like zombies and death everywhere in the streets. Like, I'm gonna walk outside and there's gonna be a dude dead, right? Pandemic. Pandemic in the legal, like in the full, like textbook term, basically just means a viral disease. So they keep using this knowing full well.
A worldwide viral disease.
Yeah. They keep knowing this full well that the Hollywood inflection of the word to try and scare people. Because pandemic's a scary word. You know, like 28 days later. Or 28 days later. Oh, pandemic and the world is ending. Pandemic this, pandemic that. Plague Incorporated. You have started a pandemic.
Dead.
The Walking Dead. They do this intentionally. It's all mental conditioning. That's all it is. And so when I hear the word pandemic, it's just like, it doesn't, it's like, yeah, it's a viral disease, but it doesn't have the inflection that they want, if we're completely. I'm sure, like, well, to them it does. Because, you know, whoa, there's a pandemic, be scared. No, there's a viral disease, or not even a disease. There's a viral sickness that's no worse than the common cold going around.
And there's many that, I mean, they have scared. I mean, just like you talking about, you know, the people in California when you were there. You know, there's people that are like freaked out. I mean, not even here in San Juan County, I've seen people run down the road like on their exercise, on a run, by themselves with a mask on.
Yeah. Because there's a pandemic.
That's fear.
Yeah, that's fear. That's stupidity. I mean, here's another thing that we all sit here and we accept this as, I go to a restaurant, I have masks on up to the door, but when I sit down, the germs can't touch me anymore. So I can take off my mask. We're safe. COVID can't touch me. I'm safe.
What it is, it's a height thing. You see, when you're standing, that's the optimal COVID altitude.
Yep.
And when you set down, you're below the COVID.
Yep.
You see.
See, COVID is it if you're shorter than 4'5", well, it'll meet you if you're standing, no matter what it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could be only 2 foot tall, and it'll still get you. But if that 2 foot tall little baby man sets down, he'd be alright.
Right, it's like the 5-second rule. I mean,
exactly.
if you've been sitting down for more than 5 seconds, it can't get on you. You can't get COVID. You can
know,
get all kinds of other
that.
stuff. You could get AIDS, you know, whatever. You know, name Ebola. You can get that sitting down, but you can't get COVID.
I was thinking about that the other day. The 5-second rule, man, that's something you don't see every day anymore. Used to, you know, little kid, you know, he drops his cookie on the ground.
I still
pick that cookie up. It's okay. It's 5-second rule. The germs can't get on it as long as you pick it up faster than 5 seconds, which actually was proven incorrect on a MythBusters episode. But
right. Well, you know what's funny about like the whole 5-second thing is that, well, I mean, that is the point, is how as an adult we're doing the exact same thing. But I was just thinking about that. It's like, that had to be one of the myths that was made during the Great Depression. Because, like, it's like, oh, you dropped your food, you dumbass.
Now you're going to starve to death.
Yeah, it's like, now I guess I can't eat it. It's like, no, wait. 5-second rule.
Right.
And,
made them feel good about it. So it's like, well, you know.
Mental morale support.
Which brings an interesting, and I've mentioned it, I think, to you before, but I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the show. To our listeners out there, something really interesting. I understand maybe many of you can, and that's really cool. And when you can, what kind of containers do you usually, the normal person, use, John?
Like for liquid?
Like for anything, like stews, soups. What do you use for canning?
Oh, for canning. Well, there's jarring. Canning. Generally, I'm more of a jarrer.
well, canning is that's a term for sealing jars also.
Okay. Very well.
To can something
Mason
is
jars.
not mason jars, usually glass jars.
Oh, sorry, mason jars I thought were like standard gold.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a brand. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But so with that said, and don't get me wrong, glass is, that's the normal way to do it. And if you're, a lot of preppers do that. Here's the one problem with glass in a true end of the world as we know it. Say you're down to a few cans and little Sally goes back there. Okay, Daddy, I'll go get the can, the whatever it is, Elks 2 from the shelf. Okay, Sally. So Sally goes back to the pantry. She grabs the can, but she's a little short and she drops it on the ground.
What?
Now it's busted.
Got
Now,
glass
as a
shards in
start,
it.
yes, exactly. As a starving person, you might still try to eat that. But now it's got microscopic glass shards in it. And you're going to die a very slow, painful death.
Agonizing. Like
So-
effing agonizing.
So I'm not saying don't can, but just try to keep a bunch of actual metal, like industrial can stuff too. For actual real end of the world as you know it. And eat the jarred stuff first before things get really bad.
Yep. And I remember, I think we talked about this like a year and a half ago, which is good we bring it up again. I mean, it's not like I expect people to watch like every episode of
that I want to bring up a lot of the stuff we've had, and also since we have a new YouTube channel now, a lot of our listeners now, or we might be getting new listeners, and they might not have heard our older content.
Precisely.
So I'm going to be bringing up a lot of these things. I would like to also
we can
go
rehash
over again,
it, which is good.
Yeah. Like maybe an episode we could bring up ranging with mill dots again, because that's a very fascinating topic.
Yep.
But before we get to our next main, I guess, prepper or whatever you want to call it, thing, I understand you bought a new video game.
I did buy a new video game this evening. In fact, the trailer that you saw, the introduction, if you were here for the very start of this episode, is actually the trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We talked about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War when it was announced for its trailer, which is find on YouTube, called Know Your History. The reason we talked about it, the reason we were excited, because normally we don't really talk about video general like moral compass, but the Know Your History trailer involved Yuri Bezmenov. Is that the correct name? Yes, Yuri Bezmenov, a genuine, this actually happened, a KGB defector who talked about the Soviet master plan to indoctrinate the youth of America. Of course, instill Sovietism, socialist policies, and that sort of thing in the country. The fact that a video game company actually did this is insane to like us, as like, every media seems to be conservative, right? And so, like, you sit here and it was actually a really cool trailer, and it goes into like different themes, and we look at it. It looks like a really cool game based in the 80s. It has a render and a presence of Ronald Reagan, which I'm very excited to see this evening. You go after a Soviet spy by the name of Perseus. The details of that I have yet to know. I'll probably be more to go next podcast after but basically a game set in the 80s during the peak of the Cold War that is heavily anti-communist. I'm looking like that was cool. The bringing back old characters, if you do play video games, if you played the old Call of Duty Black Ops, like Black Ops 1 and 2, familiar faces like Woods and Mason are returning, so that's a plus. Call of Duty Cold War looks like fun. I don't know. War Spirit, you played Call of Duty Zombies back in the day? Like some of the campaigns?
Yes, I did, and I thought it was really, really cool. I liked it. I'm looking forward to seeing the gameplay on Cold War. Of course, I'm kind of a tightwad, so I'm not going to be buying it for a while. Gonna wait for it to go down, but I am excited to see the gameplay and see some of more of the cinematic cutscenes with Ronald Reagan and stuff on there. That'll be really really cool to see.
Yeah, I was super hyped for that. Oh,
But
it's in the 80s. Man, I wish we had IT guy soundboard. I wonder, because Call of Duty has gone there before. I wonder if they go to true. Oh, we're not gonna get into that. Anyway,
just so
okay.
you know, if you
Yep.
guys have watched any kind of like YouTube channels, like AVGN, Mike Maite always thinks he has to like mention Zelda. Chernobyl is John's Zelda. So just if you guys know,
I had a huge fascination.
he's actually a Russian spy. I have yet to prove that, but his love for Russia is real and evident.
It is not a love for.
He's a dirty red. Don't
As
trust
I
him.
say while I have actively right now in my Facebook story Russian rap, it's like I don't love Russia.
Everything like you're like, yeah, the Russians this and the Russians that. I
seriously, when I first started talking to the guy again, I'm like, dude, I don't know. I think he might be red.
Dude. Oh man. It's the thing, it's like I have pioneered everything. Like I have committed the last like I would say 7 years of my life in the fight against communism. But everyone sees, they like go to my page, it's like, oh, he posted something in Russian back then, and I'm like, oh. And it's just like one of
You
those things.
by their fruit you shall know them.
By their fruit you should know them. My fruit being is today the day media. Well, that's your fruit. Without you, but anyways, that's pretty much that. Video game looks cool. Look forward to playing it this. You know. We had your bag. Want to get into that?
Yeah. So we've talked about different prepper stuff and bug in, bug out different stuff, and I'd like to talk about a bug out scenario, which again I advise against. This is not a bugging out's not a good idea. But if you must, say for some reason you were forced out of your home for some reason, or even if it's just like say a hurricane coming and you have no transportation, the streets are clogged and you got to get the heck out of Dodge. I What kind of bag? We've gone over get home bags, which was more like a 72-hour kit, so it's a smaller pack. But if I was to grab a pack, load it up, in the intention of never getting to come home again, this is the pack that I would carry, and I can put it up here, I guess, and you can show the lovely folks on the interwebs. So this pack is called the Alps Outdoor Z Commander Plus pack bag, and there's a lot of things going on with this pack. First of all, it's an external frame pack that is also what's called a freighter frame. The interesting thing about a freighter frame is
we are
you can
out of now. Just letting them.
you can take the main pack off and the frame is still on your body, so you can carry heavy things. Now, say you need to carry a bunch of wood back to your campsite that you chopped. You can do that with this. Say you need to quarter up a deer or an elk and carry it.
You can do that with this. That's actually what this pack is designed for, is for quartering up animals and carrying them out. But also it's got a very spacious main pack. And also the total weight on the pack is only 7.5 pounds.
Not too bad.
That sounds like a lot, but to give a comparison, like the standard like Marine Corps, those plastic framed packs, they're like 8.5, 8.5 or 9.
Well, think
and
of it
that's
this
half
way.
of the room.
How much are your boots? Mine weigh about 7 pounds.
My boots that I would be carrying, I wear Solomon. They only weigh about 3 pounds. I think is actually it's closer to 2 pounds. They weigh about 1.5 pounds a piece.
Granted, you got small feet.
No, they're just they're just light. I mean, you don't want to wear a big, heavy, clunky boot.
No, because you're going to be tired. Every piece of weight is a muscle strain.
There's with boots, and I don't want to go off on a tangent with this because we're talking packs, but
Yep.
with boots, there's a happy medium there. You want it sturdy and heavy enough that you're not going to mess up your ankles and stuff, but definitely don't go bugging out with steel toes.
Yeah, you're going to be tired before you even make it out the.
Yeah, but with this pack, you got a main body of the pack that's very spacious with a bottom. If you like that bottom zippered part right there. So what I like to do is put my my sleeping bag and stuff in the bottom, and you can access it by pulling it out the bottom, that bottom zipper part right there.
Yeah, I got it zoomed in.
And then it's got a small outside on the back little pocket that you can put like fire starting materials, stuff that you want to get to faster. And then the side pocket can be used for a number of things, mainly for hunting. You can it's made to hold a spotting scope. I don't own a spotting scope, so what I use that main pocket for is for maps. I'll roll my maps up and stick them in that main side pocket. One thing I did learn this year about this pack that needs to be remedied. Get you some spray, some waterproof spray, and waterproof this pack because it's water resistant, not waterproof. I got caught, me and the wife, in a downpour up above Pagosa this summer, and everything that I owned was drenched. So either do that or get a dry sack to put on the inside of the pack. That actually would probably be the best thing to do, is get a dry sack to put inside it.
Looking at the pricing too, understand, right? Economically, things are hard. I need to find my original pack. I don't know where the heck it went, but it was basically a Vietnam era pack.
Oh, like an Alice pack?
Yeah, it's huge. It's actually precisely what it was. It was like an Alice pack. I got it for $5 at a flea market, and it's got the rig and everything. It's just
Alice packs are good packs.
Solid metal, though. Not exactly light, but keeps your back straight. I need to find mine. I don't know where I put it, but here is a pretty decent price for a nice solid bag on Amazon. The link you sent us, it's about $153.
Yep.
I was about to round it out, but it rounds down to $153 by the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's not the most expensive pack out there, but it's not the cheapest. I know another guy. He's the one that a hunter buddy of mine. He recommended this pack, and he's had it for a number of years, and it hasn't let him down yet either. I've taken this pack on several extended backpacking trips, and it's been great. It's been very comfortable. It's very adjustable. So going on the trail, you can adjust the shoulders and the waist strap. Because what I like in a pack, especially a big heavy frame pack like this, is to be able to give my shoulders a rest for a little bit by loosening it and letting all the weight go to my waist.
and then once I get, rest a little bit, I can cinch it back up and take that weight back onto my shoulders.
It's nice being able to adjust where the weight goes. That's what I really like about
Yeah.
this type of bags. Now, granted, like
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, they're going to go into this whole, and mind you, we talked about this, and I wanted to put it this way: bugging out is a temporary solution to a big problem. That's
Right.
why bugging in is definitely the go-to if you can.
Right.
But with a pack like this, I want to get onto this harness. It is really nice to have that solid fortitude around you, because I can tell you right now, your spine will thank you. You're going up hills, you're doing all that, you're huffing it. You know what I mean? That back thing, like, this is why I suggest getting a bag of this type at least, or like some kind of back straightening thing that like this has.
You also want, a lot of people just think, oh, I'm going to get a frame pack and I'm going to go. Well, no, you actually need to get a pack that fits you.
Yep.
Like, for example, you ladies out there, this pack might not be the best pack for you, because what you need to do is you need to measure your torso. And this pack is adjustable to a certain point. The frame is adjustable, but you need to get a pack that the frame matches your torso. So from the back corner of your shoulder, the point of your shoulder bone, down to like just above basically your butt crack, you want to measure that. And any good you can go into a pack store like I hate to use REI because they're so anti-conservative, but some kind of store like that, and you can actually get fitted for a pack. That doesn't mean you have to buy one there. You can just figure out what size of pack and what style is best for your body. Because if you actually have one fitted to you and it's correctly adjusted, you're going to be able to hold that weight and go a lot further and a lot harder.
Yep. Huge help to be able to carry the stuff that you absolutely need efficiently.
Right.
You do not want to be caught, I say, packing.
Yeah, and this pack, that's another good thing about it is it's a rather large pack. I have carried just rucking, exercising with it, 80, 90 pounds in it, and it holds it fine. It really, it doesn't feel like it's that heavy. It does a really good job of molding itself to your body.
Noticing some other things on the Amazon page. I was just kind of scroll down a bit, and I was looking at a few things. Namely, there's some gear here and there, like a Joy Walker waterproof backpack rain cover. What about rain covers? Do you think that's kind of like unnecessary weight? Should you go with the... Well, yeah, and you can't access stuff as easy either. That's why the spray would be nice.
The spray, but I don't have nothing against a rain cover. Yeah, you can't access it as fast, but that is a good option.
Let's put it this way. I mean, sorry to cut you off, but like, if you're carrying something, make sure anything that you would need to reach in a scenario is not in your backpack.
Well, that's any scenario. You're gonna want to keep your true like emergency gear. Like whenever I'm backpacking, I still have fire starter capabilities on me. I still have my sidearm on me.
Tourniquet,
pocket knife. Yeah, an Israeli bandage and a tourniquet. All that should be in your pants pocket or on a belt.
Or if you have pockets on a vest.
Yeah, don't rely on your pack because you could lose your pack.
Yeah, you can lose your pack, and secondly, packs are something you dig in. No matter how you pack it, you gotta dig.
That goes into the lines, and we've talked about that before, but of EDC. And I had an old man put it to me one time. If you were driving down the road and all of a sudden you saw a roadblock up ahead and it was like UN troops or whatever, and you had to run your truck off the road, jump out and run with just what you had on you, what would you have on you? Because a lot of people are like, well, I can get this out of my truck because I always keep this here and always keep that there. No, you don't have time for that. What do you have on you?
What can you do? Book it. You
And,
gotta go.
And that does change from weather and different things. Like, for example, back when I was out in the field a lot of times I would keep one of those little just cheap rain slickers in one of my leg pockets. That way, if I found myself, on a walk or something and a downpour happened, well, now I got not a very good raincoat, but at least something to keep me semi-dry. And so, yeah, you don't have to carry all of these things, but plan when you're going out. Like, oh well, the weather's doing this. Well, maybe I should take a few extra things.
Just like, oh hey, just an in case thing. Distance being another one. If you're going to be very far out, as some of us are every day, I suggest, of course, carrying, making sure you have water available. You don't have to carry a bunch of canned food. This isn't like a video game. Water. That's your thing. It's the same as getting stranded in the ocean. Water is a big.
Water's huge, and yeah, you're right. It's not a video game, so you're not gonna like Daisy. You like die after like 10 minutes of not having food. It's just, you can literally go a few days without food. I mean, yeah, carry some granola bars or something with you because that'll keep you going. Because chow is in my opinion, when you're walking, when you're hiking, when you're doing this kind of stuff, it's a continual thing.
Yeah, it's a continual thing. But say I drove to Pagosa one day and an EMP went off. We kind of practice this scenario more.
Right.
And, EMP goes off, big deal, bad thing. What do I have on me? Big thing would be, at that point, I'm not settled. I have to move. I have to get home.
Yeah.
My car's not working. I can't just drive, First off, if I'm in Pagosa, at that point, that you can tell that it was an EMP, everybody's car is dead, world has hit the fan, go to a gas station, doesn't matter at this point, get snacks, do whatever. Just try to be ahead of the ball curve, because if other people start catching on, they're going to be ahead of you. They're going to be violent.
Right.
So you got maybe, I would say before the first instances of violence, I'd say you probably got 5 hours. Because everyone's still going to be sitting back. You don't want to be this person. You don't want to be sitting, and this is like if anybody gets stranded. You don't want to be the person sitting there, let's wait for it just to return to normal. Let's just figure this out. I tell you what, by all means, lock your car. I mean, if you genuinely think things might go back. I mean, if it's an EMP, it's not.
Right.
But if you have that faint sense of hope, yeah, by all means, lock your car. But that's about all you need to do with that. Get moving. And that, if that means to look at your surroundings and find a place that is safe, that is hidden, by all means, until you can
Keep
figure
it hidden.
out.
Keep it safe.
Oh. But my immediate
Gandalf
thing,
here.
yeah, if I were to be stranded in Pagosa, first order of business is if I don't have enough stuff on me to get me back, which I'm setting that would be about a 3-day journey back to Farmington. If I don't immediately have that on my person, I walk straight to like a convenience store or something, grab snacks. Trust me, don't worry about diets. You're surviving. Grab snacks.
Right.
If you can, just look around. Do what you would in any other situation. Water bottles. Water being your essential. Don't freaking pack up on soda. It's ridiculous. I mean, if it's all they got, by all means, but you're going to want water. You don't want to get stranded down the road having nothing but like Coca-Cola. Dehydration more than anything. And you might be awake. That's the thing. That pack would be really nice. We'll get more into that, I'm sure, in another episode when it comes to like... because there's your like get to your bug out bag and your bug out bag.
Right.
Sound different. Do I switch to your phone?
That's because my computer just crashed and gave me a blue screen and it's reloading and I'm on my phone right now.
Oh, that was very quick and very handy. Well done. Like you'd never even left. I just like you actually sound a little more crisp. How funny.
Well, that's pretty sad if I sound better on my phone than on my headset, but
I don't know. I'll leave that for the audience to decide. But anyways, yeah, just basically in such a scenario, get water, don't get stuck with Coca-Cola. It's all they got by all means, but concentrate on the essentials. Don't carry too much, carry too little. A few snack bars would be great. Of course,
yep,
you know,
some snacks and mainly water. And that's another thing. So the bag that you carry, say it's even just a get home bag, I'm a big fan of water bladders. Because one, you can get a water bladder that carries like 2 liters of water, so that's like 2 quarts, and that'll you can fill that up, and it's going to last you a while. So you should already have water in that while you're going for your day-to-day stuff anyways, and either drink out of that while you're at work or whatever to keep rotating it and keep it filled, or just dump it out every once in a while to keep fresh in there. So you're going to start off, you should anyways, if you can get to your get home bag, you're going to start off with 2 liters of water to begin with.
oh, and that's the thing too. I mean, if there's anybody who doesn't understand like water over food, you can go like approximately, because I remember being fascinated with this at a younger age. You can go approximately about 4 days before you start suffering severe dehydration. And looks like we lost War Spirit for a moment, everybody. No one else is here yet. Go ahead and see what's going on. But basically what I was going to get into with that. Oh, hello. You're back.
Sorry about that.
You're
I just
good.
reconnected my
Good.
piece.
Yeah, you're all good. So I'm glad you're back. But as I was saying, you got about 4 days before you start suffering deeply, if you haven't had a single drop of water, deeply of dehydration issues, especially if you're huffing it.
I would say 2.
Yeah, that's true. 4 is dead.
Yeah.
Especially if you're huffing it, trying to get somewhere. You're not conserving your energy, not conserving your water. You're walking hot or cold. Matter. I mean, more and so in the hot, the cold will help you a little bit, but you still need to find water. Add.
Yeah, because in the hot, you're going to be sweating all your water out. So that's the reason why it helps you a little bit in the cold. Also, your area, if you're out in the middle, like down Largo, and you don't know, for example, where any of the ponds and stuff are, well, you ain't going to get no water. But if you're up in the mountains where there's water like freaking everywhere, it's not going to be that much of an issue.
Right. That also brings the concept of play, which is your get home bag, I think should always have like
some way to, some tablets or iodine tablets of some kind would be a good idea for that. And or a rocket stove or something to boil water would be a good addition. The thing is, if you're just talking about sheer just getting home under, let's say it's just your car breaks down way up on like Coalbank Pass, and there's a storm coming in, so you got to hoof it. You got to go. You don't want to wait it out. You don't want to try to, for some reason, just stick with your vehicle, because a lot of times in those situations, if you stay with your vehicle, somebody's going to find you eventually.
Well, people are looking through cars.
But say that's not an option. You do need to get home. Just so you guys know, if you drink from a questionable water source, usually, you're not going to see symptoms of giardia or something like that, or basically Montezuma's revenge, for about 24 to 48 hours.
Right.
So I say, and this a lot of survivalists. I've read this. I've seen it. If that's your only option, it's better to drink the water and stay hydrated than the other.
And I'm also going to take a note from Bear Grylls. Some people might not know this. Yes, by all means, drink your. It can be, I think, it's like once or twice before you can't do it again.
Right.
It's like, because if you do it the third time, you can't cheat the system like.
Yeah, you can only filter so much.
Could you imagine? It'd never be like water or anything.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah.
Just so you know, guys, I detest Bear Grylls too. I hate that man with a passion.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, he's definitely a lot of Hollywood without much survivalism.
Yeah, he does it for like the thrills. Like, we're going to make this pole that we're going to jump across this canyon with. I could walk just 600 yards to the left and go across this easy way. But let's go take this here and jump across this canyon and maybe lose our lives.
Right. And also, I mean, another thing with that, it's like, I'll never forget, because that was always the joke, is always drinking.
He is.
And so it was like, the most ridiculous thing was like, he found a snake, chopped its head off, skinned it, and used the snake's skin as a freaking...
to drink his piss.
Like, on a part of it, I'm like, that's metal. Like, that's pretty metal.
Have you seen the disgusting one where he takes the rhinoceros dung and puts it in his handkerchief and squeezes out the liquid?
Oh my god. All right.
Like, dude, you're just asking to like kill yourself.
That's just reaching. Like, dude,
yeah.
You're not gonna find me going up to a cow patty, putting that in a bag and squeezing water out there. I will drink out of the stream before I do something like that.
Well, and I guess, okay, so let's say that's your only moisture source. Boil it. If you can squeeze that much liquid out of a dang cow patty, which I don't think you could, boil it or put some iodine tablets in it.
Oh, I mean,
this ain't rocket science.
You're gonna get some stuff you ain't never seen before you drink that, bro. You're gonna get eggs growing out of you like parasites, like mad.
Aliens are going to pop out of your chest.
You know, so it's like, think with your brain. Like, and I know that's like a common thing to say when it comes to survival, but don't, like, I mean, because a lot of people, they get so caught up, and I would like to see an experiment with this, because a lot of people are like, well, I saw this on a survival show. They get so asphyxiated on the whole survival aspect of things that they forget common sense.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, well, I can drink my piss. And it's like, well, there's a perfectly good water bottle over there. Ew. You know, and so you must be careful, you know, don't get too asphyxiated on the ridiculous favor of common.
Asphyxiated? That's
asphyxiated.
Isn't that one of those weird like kink things?
Yeah, asphyxiated means, I'm pretty sure I said asphyxiated. Puffuscated. That's one of my favorite terms. Like, say like puffuscated.
I've never heard that one.
I don't know. Maybe that's just one of IT's things. It's just puffuscated.
Maybe so. Of course, I'd never heard of cap before either, though. So, you know, no cap.
No cap. Anyways, I think the show is kind of winding down. War Spirit. We bother with our break this time around, but I don't know. What else did we have to really go over? You know?
That's pretty much it. We because of our horrific opening, we forgot to pray. So let's make sure and pray for our closing. If you want to do that, you know, we can.
All means, Lord, I bring all our listeners together, and I bring my buddy War Spirit up to you, Lord. I pray for myself as well. I pray for the goodness of your grace, Lord. I pray for New Mexico, and I pray for my country in this dark hour, Lord. I pray that you protect us as we walk forward, Lord. Let us not be distracted by the that are thrown at us every day by the enemy, God. Remind us, God, that you are here, that you care about us, and that you are going to defend us, Lord. Lord, let us not take our eyes off of the race, God. Let us not take our eyes off of you. God, please protect us and continue to bless us. Bless our show. Bless our income, Lord. Bless everything that we do, as long as it pleases you, Lord. Keep us within pleasing you, God. God, I ask for wisdom in these trying times, and I ask for light in the darkness. Lord, continue to bless us, continue to protect us in everything you do. Scary times, prosecution is right around the corner, God. Please protect us. In your mighty name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. This is Vigilance. It's Today of the Day Media. You can find our Facebook page at facebook.com/ITT. You can also contact us there, all the same. It has been a wonderful show and experience. Don't let the fear get to you. Don't let the doubt and the worry hold you down. Your voice is important as ours. We're only as strong as our signal. So share us around. And of course, continue to spread the truth. Continue to be the voice of justice and honor in a world of insanity and deceit. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll go ahead and end it here.